In this short video, let's look at how we evaluate an expression. Let's take a look at how the distributive property works. And the third thing we'll look at is how to combine like terms. So number one has negative 3x squared minus 6x plus 3. There's really nothing we can do with this. We don't know what x is, but they've given us that. They're telling us that x equals 7. So wherever we see an x, we're going to substitute the 7. So here's an x, that's got to be a 7. Here's another x, we're going to substitute that with the 7. And then we'll go ahead and return everything else that we had left. We haven't computed any of these other numbers, so let's put those in. So this is negative 3 times 7 to the second power minus 6 times x, or 7, plus 3. So we follow our order of operations. We have parentheses, but these parentheses really are multiplication. So the first step that we're going to do is our exponent. 7 to the second is 7 times 7 is 49. We'll bring down our negative 3 minus 6 times 7 plus 3. We've done our exponent. Now we have multiplication, subtraction, multiplication, addition. Well, we know we're going to go ahead and do a multiplication. So I'm going to have negative 3 times 49. Over here in my scratch paper, I will do 3 times 49, 7, and I come up with 147. I'm multiplying a negative times a positive, so my answer will be a negative. I'm going to copy everything else again. I only do one step at a time. And now I have subtraction, I have multiplication, and addition. Well, I'm going to multiply. So I have a negative 6 times 7. 7 times 6 is 42, negative. Or think of just 6 times 7 is 42 and bring down your subtraction sign. It doesn't matter. Either way will work. Now I have negative 47 minus 42 plus 3. I have subtraction, I have addition, so I'm going to go left to right. When I do my subtraction, I use the keep, change, change trick, where I keep my negative 147. I change my subtraction sign to a plus. I change my positive 42 to a negative 42. And then I'll bring down my plus 3. Now I'm going to add two negatives, two numbers with the same sign. When we add two positives, the answer is a positive. When we add two negatives, the answer is a negative. 9, 8. So if I spend $147 and I spend $42, I have spent a total of $189. It's a negative. Plus 3. The rules for sign number tells me when I have different signs, I find the difference, which means subtract. So 189 minus 3, I get 186, and the larger, stronger number carries the sign. So my answer is negative 186. Number 2, we've got 3x times the quantity x minus 4. Now, if this was 9 minus 4, we could solve what was in the parentheses, but it isn't. We have an unknown. So in order to solve it, we distribute. So we have 3x times x. We have 3x times negative 4. I like to think of the sign with the number. It just helps me when I multiply. So I'm going to evaluate and get as far as I can, bring it down to lowest terms. So I have 3x times x, so that gives me 3x to the second, and 3x times a negative 4. Well, 3 times 4 I know is 12. A positive times a negative will give me a negative, and it's x, so it's a 3x. I look at my 3x squared, minus 12x, and I'd like to combine, but x squared and x are not like terms. And so we have come to the end. We have evaluated it as far as we can. Sometimes students get a little confused with this x times x being an x squared. Well, x times x is x to the second, just as if we had 6 times 6, that equals 6 to the second. And this x is a 1x. This x is 1x. We have one of them. We typically don't put the 1 in front of the x, but we know that's what it is. All right, our third expression asks us to distribute first and then combine like terms. So let's go ahead and set up for distribution. So let's do 2 times 5, and then we'll do 2 times -3. And then we'll have -4 times x, and we'll have -4 times a +3. And I really like to see the signs and the numbers put together. It just helps my brain remember what I'm doing. So I have 2 times 5 will give me 10. 2 times 3x is 6x, and we have a positive times a negative, so it'll be a negative. Then we have a -4 times x, that'll be a -4x. And then we have a -4 times a +3. 4 times 3 gives us 12. Negative times a positive will give us a negative. And then I need to combine like terms. I've got a 10 with no x. I've got 6x, 4x. The x's are the same. And we've got two whole numbers that are like terms. We have two x's that are like terms. So I have 6 x's. Negative 6 x's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I have 4 negative x's. 1, 2, 3, 4. So altogether, I have 10 x's, and they're negative. You could also do the keep, change, change if you prefer. Since this is a subtraction, it's keep, change, change. The 6 stays, this becomes a positive, and the 4 becomes a negative. -6 plus -4 gives me 10x. And then I have a 10 and a -12. They're both whole numbers, they're like terms. So I'll take my 12 and my 10, I subtract when the signs are different, and I come up with a 2. And since the 12 is the larger, stronger, bigger number, it keeps the sign. So our final answer is 10x minus 2. I hope this all made sense to you.